what could go wrong? Just pull off the old one, put a new one back in. This thing is such a dungeon. Get from Uncle Herbie. When in doubt, all out.
I'm Herb, and this is Heather. We're post-career empty nesters who found the next phase of our lives lacking. Inspired by other YouTubers, we bought a small fixer-upper sailboat and spent 2 years building her into our traveling home. Now we're about to find out if it was all worthwhile. Subscribe and come along on our next adventure as we set sails to rediscover what's really necessary to live a meaningful life.
Away from things I let go, floating on the waves. We go bottoms up, we go all the way when you're feeling down.
So, yeah. We found a leak. I suppose we're going to give credit where credit's due, though. Barnacle found the leak. So last night we were just playing games. A dice game we've been playing here in the evening, and the Barnacle bilge alarm went off, telling us that the bilge had gone off 3 times within the last, I think it's 3 minutes maybe, whatever my short-term thing is set at. And so we got up to look around to see, well, where could the leak be coming from? So we started by looking up front, thinking perhaps we have a leak someplace from the shower or the sink or anything up front, but the bilge is dry up front. So we came to look at the bilge, and if you were able to look around the bilge, and I'll show you that shot, you would see where water would be running in, and nothing seemed to be coming from the front or forward of the bilge here on the boat, which made us immediately turn around and look aft, and we didn't have to look very far to find that we have a leak in our shaft seal, which, if you own a boat, this is one of those nightmare things, or the things that would keep you up at night, right? Fire, through hole blowing out. I don't know, I'm making these things up. I don't think any of these things actually happen, but in your head you think the through hole will give way and water will rush in and the boat will sink. Well, the prop shaft, where the shaft seal is one of those areas, right? It doesn't actually work that fast, but in my head that's the way it would work, so.
But we're lucky enough to be in a location where there's a well-known diesel mechanic, Diesel Don, who is very nice.
Well, if you saw the Christmas episode, you've already heard Diesel Don.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so the legendary Diesel Don was willing to come over and kind of look at things with me, and we started talking through different stuff. So we want to change out the prop seal. We're working with a V-drive, which is fine. Goes back to our transmission, which we already have a little bit of a leak. And if you saw any of the earlier episodes, you know we've been tracking some things down. So we start with the Barnacle alarm. Thumbs up, Barnacle. Good catch. And now we're going to end up replacing the prop shaft seal. Here we go. One of those 5-minute projects that last 2 weeks. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Here's what I'm thinking. I think I'll just start out tomorrow. We have to order the new part, actually. We need to order a Dripless if we get it here. My thinking now is, as this kind of evolves, or the more time I've spent around it, is if I replace it with the same system that I have, I might be able to scrap some of the old system as spare parts for things I might need. So I'm kind of leaning a little more toward going back with a Dripless shaft seal, but you know, this can be taken apart, it can be put back together. I think the plan is solid. Here's the rub, is I'm trying to do this with water coming into the boat, and I'm working with a timer. This isn't a job I can kind of start and, you know, stop and eat a sandwich or come back to later. So once it starts, I got to go the whole way. And I think I would just feel better maybe with a little bit of help. So, you know what? Tomorrow's another day. Garuda has a packless shaft seal, or a dripless shaft seal. And this is actually kind of one of my nightmares, but let me tell you what this piece does. This is the drive shaft that's coming off the engine, off the transmission of the engine here. And you can see with all this rust buildup, this is not actually a new leak. So I'll show you in a minute, but what happens is the drive shaft comes down to this transfer gear. That then changes the angle and the shaft goes out the back. It reverses. So the drive shaft goes directly out to the propeller. But on any boat, and you know, Garuda included, we've got to get from this inside mechanics to an exterior propeller. But the thing is that prop is in the water. So what we have is a shaft going through the hull underwater that's spinning 1,000 times a minute. Obviously that's going to leak. It's inherently going to leak. This is called Dripless shaft seal, and what you can see if I move this, we're going to get some good leaks. Oh, maybe not. There it goes. You can see the water coming through. You know, it's not a graceful thing, but there are kind of two schools of thought. You either go with an old packing style stuffing box, and that has like it's like a wick. It's got tallow and wax built around a wick that lubricates and keeps that seal. This type actually doesn't do that. It uses a compression sleeve and sends water through the system, but it doesn't drip into the bilge, so it stays dry inside the boat. I guess that's supposed to be the advantage of it, is it keeps things dry. I mean, both systems are pretty effective. That first one's been around forever, I don't know, since the 50s easily in boats. It seems like it would be great as well. I'm not exactly certain what to go back with here myself. You know, there's part of me that wants to go with the original, you know, the old school type, because it's something I can maintenance, I can, you know, perform maintenance on myself. And then again, perhaps I should go with this dripless type. That's what's on here now. It just means I can't really service it the same way. I mean, I can, it's just not, it's more maintenance than service, I guess, is what I'd say. So what I'm going to do is price the two. I'm certain that the dripless is going to be twice the cost of the other one. We'll do a little homework and see kind of what we find, and then we'll progress from here. The thing is, if I take this off, man, I'm going to get a lot of water coming in. This thing is such a dungeon. And you know, I hate to say I've been neglecting it. This is one of the things I've been kind of fearful of. You can always find the parts of the boat that I'm most respectful of or most scared of because I haven't touched them or they're the ugliest, and this is definitely one of them. So I guess we got an opportunity here to clean something up. So gonna delay us a little, but hey, it's the right thing to do. Okay, so according to the specs here, we need 2 measurements to replace the dripless, and one of those is going to be the shaft diameter, which hopefully I can just get right here. I'm not exactly certain how to do that. I think this should just go, maybe it's actually the tips, because that's right at 1 inch. Okay, so that's a 1 inch shaft. That's one measurement. The second measurement's got to be the fiberglass shaft tube in the back, which is where the actual prop is. Maybe I do. Not really. Need to know this measurement here. That is really close. It's about that. Okay, so that's in the 2 1/4 range. I'm just going to check that again. Yeah, it's definitely less than 2 1/2. Alright, so we're going to have to do a little online research that. So 1 to 2 1/2. Alright, so we talked to the boatyard. They can fit us in like 4 days, 3 1/2 days. So, we're going to do that, but we got a little extra time, so we're going to devote all of our energy to cleaning the bilge and fixing a couple of wonky things down there that have been bothering me for a while. I'm trying not to make a hole where I don't need to make a hole. See what kind of head that is. Since we have a project down here, I might as well take advantage of it and try to clean this up, you know? See if I can't, you know, turn my dungeon into a, I don't know, something. Into a man cave. Supposed to be attached to, like this stuff.
It wasn't attached to anything?
Well, I mean, this is, I'll show it to you here, but that looks like coaxial cable to me. I mean, maybe there was an antenna of some kind at some point. It's a 40-year-old boat. I mean, you know, this could have been a TV antenna for all I know. but it's the bilge. This will be a little boat exploration. Let's see where it comes out. This is going into the harness, going my way, and let's see, that's going aft. So let's go figure it out. And we got a power cable here too. So maybe we can take advantage of reharnessing some of that stuff together. And this is me, that comes off the hot water heater, so that one I can move. All right, let's go that way. Golly. I need a
Use
stick
shop
or
vac
something.
or something. A stick. Not our water stick. We have that post back
Here's
there.
a big screwdriver. Oh, that's solid.
Is it just gunk?
Oh man. I don't know what we're gonna find in here. I'm not sure I can reach that far, am I? Oh.
Ew. Maybe we'll find some treasure.
Shelf liner. Yeah, right.
Some old money.
Oh.
You know, we had some rubber gloves in there. You
Yeah.
could have put on.
No, it's already too late now. We gotta see where this thing comes out. I guess it's coming out of your end, right? A white pipe. It's okay if you can't see it.
I see a black pipe down there that hooks up to the bilge.
There's a new bilge line on there. This thing. Jeez. What's going on with all this? Oh, look at that.
Nice.
Just assuming that's not in use. This needs to get out of the bilge. Needs to come up here. We're gonna need some zip ties.
What else is new?
I know. And what did we decide this was? We don't even know what this is. Gotta figure out where that's going now. All right. It's going over here.
You should have expected that. In this boat, always expect the unexpected.
Oh, I found the other end.
Oh, good.
Wires that lead to nowhere. Should we make a pile of these? You want to show how many things we end up taking out, or is that too embarrassing? All right. Well, let's tie some stuff up, see if we can't make this look a little more organized. Oh, this might have been cut even. I can go to anything. These are stuck down. What are they gonna do? Nothing.
Show us what it looks like. A piece of wood.
Well, it's... Where are you? Okay, well, it's rotten on these ends. Okay, we're here in the center bilge. I'm going to show you what I'm facing. This actually is an old one. This is one that I've replaced, but these were just struts. Kind of. They're not structural, they're just holding things in, but you're going to be able to see just what bad shape these are in. You can see it here, I think. I've taken one out along here that I'm about to glue into place. And this was my tester, one I've already glued in. Alright, well this one just came out whole. These are in some bad shape. So anyway, just ran the sander over to clean it up a little bit. Alright, well I've tabbed them in now. Fiberglass had a chance to dry. I've sanded some stuff. It's probably time to get some paint on her. All right, so we're all situated. Well, we got all situated. I've got the bilge out. Look how dirty that thing is, huh? We're gonna try to clean that up, and then we're gonna vacuum out the dungeon. Okay, well, with the bilge vacuum and clean, we're gonna move on to the shaft seal. This is the set screw we're trying to take out right here, and the idea is we can get it off of this transverse gear, and it will allow the prop to and the whole shaft to slide out a bit. And if the prop shaft will slide out a little bit, we can take that donut and be able to move it forward so that we can replace that dripless seal.
Didn't fit real tight. I didn't want to strip it.
Yep, I got you. Is that challenging enough, or should we have made a smaller space?
Get something to...
Yeah, I got a little more room now.
Yeah. And a good pair of vice grips to take care of that.
Not budging. It's this piece right here we're trying to get off that's giving us a lot of trouble. You can see where it's attached here. It's heated up pretty good, but we can't get that thing off. But try it. Work. Okay, we tried the hammer. We've tried the blowtorch. Brought out the heavy artillery with the hydraulic press. Hydraulic press and the blowtorch. Glad we're not doing this in the water. Oh man, things are getting serious. It's always serious when the boys bring their own fire extinguisher. Ooh.
Take pressure off.
Hey, man. What's the adage about one bolt turns a 5-minute job? And
Hey, we weren't the only one that had a hard time on that.
no, man.
Look at the front of this thing. Yeah. We didn't even get the beat on that side. All right.
Good job. Early morning, day 2. I'm gonna locate some coffee and head to the boatyard. Alright, so here's the way this thing works. This mounts to, it's hard to hold the camera and tell you this, but this part is mounting to the back of the boat. So the propeller essentially is where you are, and this mounts forward. And this piece stays in place, right? Just solid like this. Then we have an O-ring of big metal. You can kind of see probably the seals inside of that. And this one affixes to the shaft. So that when these two surfaces meet, this is really, really smooth. Carbide right on stainless. so that when these two meet, with this one spinning and this one being stationary, they create a watertight seal. The trick is getting one attached to the boat and one attached to the shaft. Got it off the tube right there, but turns out the size may not be right, so let's see if we can do something to resize to prevent us having to go for a new part. We ordered the stainless steel rotor to be a 1-inch rotor. I'm just getting a measurement on it, but that's not 1 inch. It's short an inch. It's actually an 1/8 too small. But we have a 1-inch propeller shaft, so we can't change the whole shaft out. This was not the right piece, but just to confirm that it was sent, it tells me it was a 1-incher. So what we're gonna do is, instead of using the new part that came from it, we're gonna see if we can't work on the old rotor shaft here. So that's gonna mean some wet sanding and polishing, and see if we can't clean it up to get a smooth surface. So another thing I couldn't have done in the water. All right, the fellows are in the machine shop fabricating, I suppose is the word, new pieces.
You know, see how much thicker it is on that end?
Yeah.
That's how you get them, you know, and then...
But it tapers in. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, see, it's bigger there than it is.
Of course it
see,
is.
It barely... So it looks like I'm going to have to take it. It slides almost all the way on there.
Okay. While they're making those parts, I'm going to get to work in the bilge. So as long as we're getting this thing cleaned, what I'm going to do is run a new bilge line. I had pretty good confidence in the line we had. It's just been spliced a couple of times, and ideally I would run a brand new line all the way back to the stern of the boat, but there's already a splice maybe 2 feet into the system. So what I'm going to do is take out the 3 or 4 splices that are behind that. I'm going to go back to that first original splice. We're going to put new tubing in and run it directly to the bilge, so just to be safe. What'd you use for it?
I started with 600 grit wet sand and then all the way to 2,000.
Man. All right.
Maybe brand new.
There we go. All right, all together now. You can see the bellows there compressed and the new kind of re-engineered, or the old re-engineered piece put back on. I've also got the vented loop, or just vent, that prevents there being any type of siphoning into that joint. And the dripless is holding fine. This is the new bilge line I'm holding here in my hands. Man, I just could not have done this without the guys at Marathon Boatyard, so many thanks. So we sat back down in the water, done a quick check, just sitting here to make certain that there's no leaks. I don't have the light out anymore. But so far we're dry. So we're going to kind of get the boat just kind of basically ready. We're going to come out a little bit here in the slip. We'll probably run the engine just to make sure that we don't have anything dripping, and we'll get out of here.
We go bottoms up. Hurting in my soul, shake